In this video, I'm going to take a look at how to create a back-to-back order. And what that means is we're going to create a sales order and then generate a PO from the sales order. So there's two ways to do that. One is direct back-to-back, and then the other is receive and ship, like a normal purchase order. We'll take a look at both. We're actually going to execute the PO, receive, and ship. So I'm going to start with creating a sales order. So I'm going to buy something from a vendor. I'm going to do some work to it and then ship it back out. So let's create a new sales order. I'm going to use a test customer. And I'm going to choose a product of which I will review the setup here momentarily. This is the one I have set up. And I'm going to add a subcontracting service on here because this is how it's going to be set up for this particular customer. So I'm going to get a product, do a service to it, and then ship it out. Okay, so I have the sales order created. Now, what's the important here is this product source. If it's normal, there's going to be no back-to-back. Okay, we're going to use reorder processing for that. But we don't want normal. We want to select either PO direct to customer or PO receive and ship. If I do PO direct to customer, it will have a PO created of which the type is won't be able to receive it. You just go from PO to invoice. PO receive and ship will actually be able to do a receipt, and we're going to look at that. So now that I've done that, I have now available to me on the right list this back-to-back order. When I click this, it's going to generate my purchase order. See, created PO 55 in my log file. Now there's some setup required to do this, so let's take a look at that. If I go to my product record, let's actually do it here. All right, this is my product record. So there's a couple of setup items that need to be completed for this to work. So the first one is here under the sales block. Now if I use this back-to-back here, for example, this will default it to back-to-back. So when I create the sales order, it'll automatically try to create the back-to-back order. And then what this field is here, PO direct quantity. So this is a minimum quantity for the back-to-back. So if I were to do a sales order for 10 and this were set up like this, it would not create a back-to-back order. Only if I exceed this threshold of 100 would it create the back-to-back order. In this case, I'm not going to use this. I just wanted to review that functionality. But what we need to do is on the supplier record, we have to have a supplier entered for this product. And we have to have this back-to-back order selected for it to be eligible. So once we have at least one supplier as a default with this back-to-back checked, then that's what we need in order to do what we just did on this last page. All right, so now let's go ahead and we're going to do the receipt on this item, and I'm going to leave the sales order because it's linked to the purchase order. So if I try and do the receipt while I have the PO open, it's going to throw an error. So I'm going to go to my purchasing landing page, and I'm going to go to receive orders. I'm going to create a new receipt. And select order selection. There's my supplier, there's my product, create. So now I've done my receipt. So it's in stock. So now I can actually complete my sales order. So I've received the item, I've done my work. I can do a number of different things on this. Let's go ahead and go back to our order here. Now we can do a pick for this if we want to. I'm just going to skip that process now. We're just going to go straight to delivery. And we're going to deliver the product along with the service to the customer. I'm going to validate that. And then we're going to invoice. Now we've created our invoice, and posting would be the last step in the process, of which this will be automatic. These last two steps should be automatic, as I have this set up for this customer. And that's the back-to-back order processing.